right, let's go. We are going to do something very boring and very tedious. So, why am I going live, you might ask? Because you need to know and understand how tedious this process is. For those of you who have hired video producers before, you have no idea the editing process. We're not about to edit a video, we're about to do some animations. And I have already done the first 3 pages. But the goal, obviously, is to do all 31 pages of newly published book here called The Origin of Race. Let me give you an idea of where we at. I'm gonna just show you the video first. Where's the video at? These are all the pages. I don't think I have it in this. I don't know if I have it. But we have the voiceovers. We have some scores. And we're just going through it. So basically, here is the book. Let's bring it up so you guys can see what's going on here. Bam. That is the book. It's out now on Amazon, or if you want a personal signed copy for me, just hit me up. But this is a tangible copy, and basically what we're doing is we're taking all of the illustrations that we were given by Mr. J. Mariano, who is my illustrator out in the Philippines, and he was gracious enough to give us all of the illustrations in PSDs or Photoshop files. And they're broken down into the layers so that after the book is published, which it is, I can come back and make it into a animation, which is what we're doing right now. Okay? So, first 3 pages, boom, bop, 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 bop. Actually, that's not even the first 3 pages. This is like, let's bring up Premiere too. Holy Maria Martinez, what's up? Appreciate you joining, commenting. If you have any questions, hit me up. I'm going to bring it up on Premiere because what we do is we do all the heavy lifting in After Effects, and then this is the wrong project. Close it. We do all the heavy lifting in After Effects, and then we bring it into Premiere where we add a lot of the sound and stuff like that. Come on, don't do this to me. Oh, Spanish. ¿Cómo está? You also have... I'm trying to understand. I'm not good with my Spanish, man. My Spanish is not where it should be. It's not where it should be. I'm sorry. Damn. But let me show y'all where we are. Pay attention to the program screen. Over. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm narrating it, and I have family members and friends playing or narrating or being the voiceovers of some of the characters in this thing. I know, dang, the language barrier. Don't you just wish? Well, I have like Google Translate and stuff. I just can't get into that like on the fly. Over 6,000 years, I would speak it like I am the man. Over 6,000 years ago, a scientist in Mecca named Yaqub was blessed with an idea to make a new people through whom he would rule the world. Oh, okay. This new people would not look like the original black people who populated all the earth. It is a pleasure to meet a fellow designer since the beginning of creation. And I'm guessing since Yaqub's new people speaking Spanish would be the opposite. Not in America? Very light, and would eventually come to be known as white people. But they would have to be made from the black people, since they were the only ones who existed. So you get to see that I'm just taking Photoshop files. Yaqub began his mission Photoshop layers by teaching as many as adding a camera into it of how he would,
it will make you better, and it will make the people serve you.
Okay, I gotta turn him up. He convinced many to follow him. Yaqub's taking his layers so powerful and just animating them, adding a camera, arresting his followers, and making the camera orbit move, and making the images move as well to give you these effects here. But the more the arrests, I think this is the only one his teaching spread. These last two have until the lightings were filled effects on them. The king questioned the authorities of who Yaqub was and his teachings. The king then went to Yaqub's cell to work out an agreement. Nice. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm trying my best, and the reason why I'm going live is because a lot of the people, a lot of my peers, seem very intimidated by After Effects. And this, even though this is a very long project, it's already been a year out. I'm going to show you how somewhat simple After Effects is. And here we are in After Effects. As you can see, there's a lot of layers here. We're going to break all of this down. You look over here in the project folder. You see I have 1, 2. Okay, so I do have 3 pages in. So this here is the final composition that we're on. This is the composition that's going to have every page in the book. So the little bit of layers that you see, which is 31, it's going to be a lot more layers than that when we're done. This project is a very personal project. It is a book that I wrote based on the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in the Nation of Islam. He teaches us basically where the different races that we see in this world come from, where they originate from. Thus the title, The Origin of Race. It's probably going to get a little bit triggering for some folks, as a lot of us already have certain beliefs, but that is also the reason for this book, right? No, we do not get our skin pigmentation from geographic locations. No, the weather does not really control so much of our pigmentation like that. Yes, if I stay inside for a long time, I'll get a little ashy. I'll get, a little pale, but it will not change the color of my skin. as some people believe. So we got to get into the science of it. And in the Nation of Islam, we teach this, but there isn't really a visual to go along with it. This is the visual. Am I studying? Yes, I've studied it. Of course, there's always more to learn, but this is part one. I'm getting into part two after all of this. So after I make the animation, then I got to try to find out how to market the book, how to hopefully go on book tours and stuff like this. And hopefully I would have this as help, to do these kind of presentations. I guess you can say it's a hobby. This is my gift to the world. So let's go into the pages here. This is one big folder. It has a lot in it. I have a folder called AEPSDs, which stand for After Effects PSDs. Basically, I took these Photoshop files and made the layers more manageable so that I can use it better in After Effects. If we go into the Photoshop file right now, this is page number 7 we're going into. Let's boot it up. Boom, right? You got the text, you got the images, and you have the layers here to your right. Got the counseling, bottom, the wedding in the middle, priest also in the middle, and the DNA strands in the back. It's already pretty simple, but I probably wanted to make it simpler. So if I go into these After Effects PSDs folder and click on the 7 there, it's the same thing, except I've really made it bare bones. Like a lot of the stuff I just kind of like deleted. Just showing the difference between what the illustrator gave me and what I'm doing to make the animation part easier. So the AEPSDs are what we're going to use to drop into After Effects and stuff. So we already got 1, 2, 3 pages in. Let's go to page 4. It's been a little while, and when we click on these, we want down here, we don't want it to be imported as footage, because if it is imported as footage, we won't be able to dig deep into it. So we want to import it as composition retain layer sizes. So we want we don't want no quality taken out whatsoever in this import. Make editable style layers. Yes. Composition, retain layers. Boom. Okay. And it'll make a page 4 for us. This right here this file is a composition. Click on that and it should give us our page. And also what I've done is I've taken out the text boxes. You don't need text boxes with what we're doing because we have a voiceover. Got that already. Cool. So here is where we see that we have the individual layers here. And what we're going to do is we're going to make each of these individual, what's this group? Oh yeah, we don't need that. But we're going to make each of these individual layers 3D. Going to make it a 3D layer. And then we're going to identify the layers, all the layers on this top panel. Because this is the layer that we want to be on the screen, not both of them at once like we're seeing here. So let's go back to the final. We got the king here, Now, what I didn't do was, wait a minute. The king is here. We're supposed to have the conversation with the king. And that's not what we have on number 4. So we are messing up. Yes, we do mess up. The only thing about projects like these is that likened unto like an algebraic math problem, one period, one comma, if anything is off, the whole thing is screwed up, or you're just not going to be satisfied with it. Luckily, as long as I remember how the story goes, we won't make that mistake. So, we might still be on page 3. Yes, we are. I only put the first top thing in there. But this, if you get confused as to what we're doing, I'm gonna make those actually, let's see, figure 2. Not really much we can do there because the illustration isn't such that I can move him around. They're not together. I might be able to play with the camera a little bit. And you gotta go to the root of each of these compositions and make them 3D layers. Otherwise, the effect won't work because all of these are 3D layers. Once we do that, we select all of the pieces that we're going to use. Oh, wow. Copy. And we're going to bring it up here. And we're going to paste. Ooh, we don't want to paste it. Where are we? Okay. Boom, we got that. So we get introduced to Yaqub in the story for a couple of seconds. Boom. Light comes through to him. Make it really dramatic. Then we stop right about there. So like right here is where we stop and cut to the next scene. And the next scene is this right here. Boom. And this is where we make these into 3D layers. And we want the background first. Now this panel here, the one to the left side, This left panel is where we control the camera. And we need a camera, because we don't have one for that scene. Or do we need one? Let's see. Let's put everything in their place first. If you're still here, congratulations. You might be serious about getting into this. If you are not, I understand. I'm not really doing too good a job at explaining, because I'm actually trying to do it. And I'm figuring it out as I go. Well, not figuring it out, but I'm more interested in getting it done than teaching. You're seeing this as it's happening. So we go here, fit the screen, zoom out just a little bit, and something's off. Which layer is this? This is the king. The jail should be between them. Or the king should be behind. There you go. No, we don't need a camera. I'll just scroll both of them. I'll just animate them accordingly. And literally all it is a position thing. Keyframe, keyframe. Let's see, how long does this conversation go? Matter of fact, I have the voiceovers here. Yaqub narration. The king questioned the authorities of who Yaqub was and his teachings. Oh. The king then went to Yaqub's cell to work out an agreement. Yaqub, okay, that's the narration. But I don't have his voiceover. Shout out to Justin Luther, who is a voice actor. He's the guy who plays Yaqub in this project.
Give me and my followers everything to start and maintain our own civilization.
That's him. But the king, shout out to Mr. Richard Blackwell. He's a local and a friend, and we've worked together many times. He plays the king, and I use him for the king because his voice is good.
Yaqub, king, take one. What would you suggest? Asked the king. Take two. What would you suggest? Asked the king. Take three.
I think I already know I'm taking this one.
What would you suggest? Asked the king.
It's between 3 and 4.
Take 4. What would you suggest? Asked the king.
No, 3 and 5.
Take 5. What would you suggest? Asked the king.
I think we're going to go with 3. So, we got to drop Richard's narration down. Boom. And move it over so that it goes under the proper spot. so that when he does, you see Yakub. So what I'm gonna do, looking at the page, I think I'm gonna start Richard's voiceover when we're still looking at this top frame. No, we're gonna do it the right way, which is the bottom frame. Stuff like this is about timing, so if we go into the Premiere version, how long do we have Yakub's face up there? Okay, so we don't need to have him there much longer than that. So after the animation stops, oh, undo. After the animation stops, we on to the next one. Which means all of this moves over. Boom. Then we have Richard's boom.
What would you suggest?
Gotta cut it down in the beginning. Move it over.
What would you suggest?
And then I, as the narrator, I say, as the king. And went to Yakub's cell to work out an agreement. The king questioned the authorities of who Yakub was. And his I gotta take this off. I don't even know how to take it off. Asked the king. Okay, so I already asked the king. And then we drop that down.
What would you suggest?
Asked the king. Hey. Asked.
What would you suggest?
Asked the king.
You suggest. What would you suggest?
Asked the king. And that's it. This page stops. So all this, just bring it on down because it's done. We only on this page for a few seconds, or not even that. Just enough for that dialogue right there. But we want some movement, a little movement in every page. So we're going to take both of these, change the position. We've already started the keyframes, undo. And then we're going to come back over here go forward in time and move them so we can see the king at the end. That's it. But we're also going to do, we're also going to make the keyframes ease in at the end.
What would you suggest?
See if we fit it up here. Then play it.
What would you suggest?
Ask the king. See? And there you have it. You have a nice reading rainbow type of action there. Very simple. Just moving the image from one side to the next. So you can see the back of Yaqub's head and the king. And this dialogue here, I guess we can keep it, but we don't actually need it because when we put it onto Photoshop, I'm already going to have that here. But the dialogue that's in After Effects is just great for timing. So when we render this, it's not going to have any sound. The sound that I'm putting on here is strictly to time the animation. Nothing more than that. Let's do one more before we end it. I know it's been a half hour already, and I'm pretty sure ain't nobody else on here. Let's go back to page 3. As you can see, every time I take an eye out of these layers, you see it disappear. Boom. Copy. Bop, bop, paste. We want it to be under there, bam. Then we're gonna stretch the timeline out so we can see it. Move these guys all the way to where they're supposed to start. Zoom back in since it's a big situation. And boom. First thing we gotta do is find the page. And we know based on this that is at the end, it's at the bottom. So when we bring it up at the final composition, it's also going to be at the bottom. We just got to raise it up so we can see it. And there's not much we can do with this particular image because it's not really illustrated in a way that allows me to manipulate the different layers too much. Maybe the king, but definitely not Yaqub. Let's see here. You might have to just do the same thing where it's just a simple simple action. So that's what we're gonna do. Let's go to Justin.
For the next 20 years,
Yaqub makes a deal with the king.
followers give me and my followers everything to start and maintain our own civilization. For the next 20 years. And we will go from you.
I wanted him to be a little bit more dramatic than that, but I'm cool. I'm not gonna. So, I'm gonna use that. This is Yakub talking, which is good. Give some time to establish the scene before he talks.
Give me and my followers everything to start and maintain our own civilization for the next 20 years, and we will go from you.
And then what did I say?
Yakub replied.
Oh, I go first.
Yakub replied. Yakub.
Yeah.
Yakub. Yakub replied.
So this is a longer scene because mine has to come into play before does. So, bam. Then drop it. Bam. Let's go.
Yakub replied.
It's a little long.
Yakub replied.
And after I say replied, it should be more immediate.
Yakub replied.
Give me and my followers everything to start and maintain our own civilization.
Yakub replied.
Give me and my followers everything.
That's good. Pop. And then I say, what?
The king gladly accepted, and Yakub and 59,990.
Let's see where this reads in the book. Let's bring the manuscript up. Okay, so we don't mention the king's response until the next page, but we can start at the end.
The king gladly accepted, and Yakub and 59,999 of his followers were exiled.
Wow.
The king gladly accepted.
So I'm going to use that to transition from the third page to the fourth page. So let's see how it plays out.
Yakub replied,
Give me and my followers everything to start and maintain our own civilization for the next 20 years, and we will go from you.
The king gladly accepted, and Yakub.
So, and Yakub. So, Bob, when I say that, we're already at page 4, which means we're cutting all of this right where the cursor is to mark the beginning, page 4. Boom. Timing. But now we focus on the animation. And the animation, like we did on the first thing, is simply a left to right. But I guess what we can do is we can add some scale to it, since it's such a long scene. Start here. Actually, no. Position scale. And I think the scale should be. Oh, we don't want the king to. Maybe we do. And maybe we just back him up. Yeah. Alright, so pop. We go forward in time. Move everybody over. And what would a scale down look like? He's in. He's in. And when animation stops, and there we go. Save. Don't forget to save. It would suck if we did all this work.
Yakub replied,
Give me and my followers everything to start and maintain our own civilization for the next 20 years, and we will go from you.
The king gladly accepted, and Yakub,
Boom.
59.
On to the 4th page. There we have it. Told y'all I wasn't going to be on here long, but I wanted to give you an idea of how tedious and boring this can be. And After Effects is not as hard as people make it. Now, granted, I'm not really doing a whole lot with it. It can be, a lot more can be done with it. It's just like Photoshop. People can manipulate and stuff in Photoshop. And I'm not at that level. But I can use it. And the same thing with After Effects. It can do a lot, depending on the skill level. This project here doesn't require a whole lot because a lot of the work is done. We're just maneuvering 2D images. So, yep. Now we're going to render this. Well, I'm gonna log or check out and do some more pages because this is only page 4 that we're on now. And as you can see, there's about 30 pages. So I appreciate the engagement, if you were engaging at all. But until next time, this is LeVar Burton, signing over and out.